Firstly, apologies for the binary title. I'm working with the YouTube algorithm here. So this video is why you can't help loving unavailable people and the reasons you fight for them, why you keep attracting them, and why people who are available seem boring or dull to you. There is a really simple explanation for this, and stay till the end of the lesson where I'll show you the 3 steps to cutting off ties completely and resetting your self-worth so that you attract available people into your life. Now, these 3 steps are just the beginning of the deeper work I do in Love by Design, where you'll integrate the core wounds that cause your insecurity and anxiety in relationship in a simple, easy way so that you can align with your true self and attract a healthy partner and relationship. Now, if you want more free content on this topic, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you get notified when I post new videos every week. Before we begin, I want to announce that a few places have opened up on my calendar for the free one-to-one consult with me for the Love by Design program. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the announcement on how to apply for that. So let's firstly look at why you feel like you only attract unavailable people. We attract all types of people, available and unavailable. They're all in our sphere on apps, we're around them in our daily lives, but there's this kind of filter running where we only let in the unavailable ones. We're really attracted to something about them. They thrill us in a way that we think we're in love, right? Now, it's important to remember that we're drawn to feeling familiar when it comes to romantic connections. If someone is familiar to us, we're going to feel like we've met them before or we knew them in a past life. And that familiarity can really drive this story that they're the one. When we're only being drawn to familiar connections, the template that we have for that familiarity is from our family of origin, our relationships with our parents and caregivers. They form our first relationships and they inform all our relationships from then on. So our body, brain, and nervous system wants to feel the same way we felt when we were children. That's familiar, that's safe, and we're now trying to feel that in our romantic life, in our adult life. And I know it's a little bit strange to process this, but if we've had familiar feelings that our parents weren't always available to us, our nervous system is going to seek out a partner where on some level they're not always available to us as well. That's why we only draw in unavailable people to us. We're drawn to that familiarity of unavailability and the anxiety that it provokes within us. We think that's love and we think we found the one. And that's why we fall head over heels in love with them way too early on. So if you've had a parent who was unavailable in any way, and this is a spectrum, right? They could have just been distracted with things when you were needing them, or, they were significantly not there in your life, or they've shown you love in some ways, but not others. On some level, there was some kind of unavailability there. You absorbed a very important message during that time, and that message is that you aren't worthy of deserving that love. Now, if you don't believe me, I want you to do a quick exercise with me now. I want you to imagine right now, close your eyes, a person who shows up completely available to love every bit of you. They adore you, they love you unconditionally, and they're not going away. They are absolutely smitten with you. Right now, you've probably got an uncomfortable feeling or thoughts there's something wrong with this, or yucky, or boring, that person's not right, and that you should run. That energy that just came up in you right then is the feeling memory of that belief stuck in your body from that deep core memory you've played out in this narrative again and again in your relationships, drawing people in who can't love you, who aren't available to you because you believe you're not lovable. You might have some limiting beliefs like, when I fall in love with people, they always leave or they never choose me. Or when I love people, they always lie or cheat or hurt me. These are the subconscious beliefs and stories created from this feeling memory. Now, the question is why you can't help loving those people that never choose you or lie and cheat and hurt you is because that wound is calling out to be healed. You are driven from a subconscious desire to finally get the love you never had as a child in your partnership. But because we're always choosing our partner from a wounded place, we're also choosing someone who can never give that to us. And so you end up in a horrible position, chasing unavailable love and feeling out of control around it. Please tell me below if this is landing with you. I'm speaking not only from experience, but from working with a lot of clients who have similar patterns of this trance of unworthiness, which is a Tara Brach quote. When we distill down our problematic relationship patterns, they always fall to one of a few core stories that stem from this core abandonment wound. So how do you move forward then, knowing that there's this subconscious pattern playing out that's drawn to familiarity? Well, it's pretty simple, but it's hard to execute because we've got to start feeling uncomfortable in our body. We need to break out of those familiar patterns of attachment to unavailable people and start making available people familiar to us and our nervous systems. And at the moment, when you come across a person who's available, you'll have a story around it. They're boring, or they're too plain, or there's something wrong with them, that they're not with anyone else. Your avoidant energy is going to get triggered here. So we've got to get smart with our bodies and start bypassing that defense mechanism it's putting up in the form of a fight or flight, so that we make healthy, available connections. Now, ideally, you heal this core wound from the bottom up somatically, which is what I teach in my program, Love by Design. But to get you started today, we can start getting our body used to healthy, available love in a few ways. Firstly, I want you to do an audit of all of your ex-partners and find the similarities between them all. We have these ghost types of people we're drawn to, people who are always critical about your appearance or behavior. They're overly charming and sweet on the outside, but they have this dark, broken side to them. That type, those attributes and similarities between your exes are the opposite of what you are now going to be looking for in a partner. So those people that seem super sweet and charming on the first date are more likely to be unavailable and will trigger your anxiety, which will translate to be love. So start dating people that are grounded and perhaps quiet, but are on an even keel. Even the ones you think are boring, go out on a few dates with them before you decide there's not enough connection with them. You see, people that are unavailable are more frequently on the dating scene because they're not in a relationship. They don't have what it takes to stick out conflict down the line. And they're really good at forming romantic fantasy bonds at the beginning. They probably believe in it as well, so we can't assume that they're disingenuous. But know that available people who are secure are showing up on the dating scene just to check things out. They're not trying to perform or hook you in or play any kind of game. So please give the boring people a chance. They're probably actually just nervous and shy. They don't date much because they probably spent more time in a relationship. And just let them open up to you in their own time. Don't judge them right off the bat on their ability to perform on the first date. You'll just be opening that filter that only draws in unavailable people to you. Secondly, when you get approached by someone who's really, really keen and you kind of like them, there's no reason for you to not date them. Please think twice before you go ahead with it. Just because they're keen and want to date you, choosing a partner in this way based on their willingness is not a good reason to start dating someone. Being pursued is flattering, it's really nice. It's the opposite of this anxious avoidant trap we've been in where people are always unavailable and pulling away. And I get why we love being pursued in the beginning. But if this has ever happened to you, you'll know that if the person is actually unavailable, it won't be long until they ghost you or totally change their attitude to you. And if you're hooked into the connection, you'll be left wondering what happened. You need to be clear on what you want in a partner before you start dating and testing the waters, and let that decision drive you, not because they're available to you. If you let their availability drive your decision, you're already disempowered in what I call a scarcity mindset, and I have a video on that here. You'll lack the discernment skills to know the difference between someone that's good enough for you according to what you're seeking in a partner and someone who you're trying to figure out if you're good enough for them, which is a mindset that will put you right back in this scarcity cycle and this pattern of loving unavailable people. Lastly, and this is probably the most important thing to do, so start with it first. What you believe about yourself is what you're projecting onto people around you. When I asked you to imagine someone showing up and loving you completely availably, you got uncomfortable because you believe that you are broken and not lovable, which you project onto healthy people, that there's something wrong with them too. So start by shifting your perception of yourself. I've made a video on how to do that, to let go of your ex here. And shifting your perception means cultivating a healthy sense of self. Breaking out of what you believed yourself to be from your childhood and allowing yourself to mature into an adult who loves herself, who loves looking after herself and sees herself in a positive light. Remind yourself of all the things you did manage to give yourself today that made you feel really great and gave you a healthy sense of self-respect. How you looked after yourself, how you admired your skills or efforts that day. You might even start a gratitude journaling practice in the evenings and start by committing to one act of self-love every day. It might simply be a cup of tea without any distractions in the morning, or giving yourself an hour every day to do something that brings you a little amount of joy. Small moments of self-care build up over time. But what gets in your way from starting is shaming yourself for being where you are now and overwhelming yourself with the journey ahead. So please only start with the 1%. Those things that you do that will really bring you joy in the smallest of ways are the best way to get started. So when you feel that uncontrollable urge or pull towards the unavailable person who's in front of you, remember it's a direct link to your self-worth. In that moment, interrupt the pattern in your mind. I know some people wear a band on their wrist to snap them, to remind them to stop sending out your energy to someone who can't return it to you, and send that precious energy right back in towards you, to your self-worth. Your energy is incredibly valuable, and sending it out to the wrong people will make you feel worse and worse. Now, I've touched on self-worth and self-love practices, and it is so possible to really heal and strengthen this core wound of unworthiness so that you can attract someone who is available. And I have an excellent training where I outline the 3 steps to a secure relationship that covers both the self-love piece and how to find that person. And you can join me at that training in the link below. And come and meet me in my free Facebook group. We do a live Q&A every week, and I'd love to see you in there and answer any questions that you might have. And if you want to take up on the offer for the free one-to-one consult with me, my calendar link is in the description below. And please let me know if you have any questions from today's lesson. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, clicking the like button is going to spread this video around so more people see it. And if you like this content, click the subscribe button because I post lessons like this every week. And in the meantime, here are your next step lesson videos so that you can move one step closer to an incredible relationship with yourself and the partner that you desire. For now, I'll see you in the next video.